All right, no more bullshit dress rehearsals. This one's for real. Grab your pencil and your paper. It's the obligatory PSU pregame show. Welcome back.
Thanks. I almost choked on my beer. That would have been a good way to start right there.
And welcome back to you, our beloved audience. It's the obligatory PSU pregame show. We are at Happy Valley Live, and we are going to have a big announcement about this place. We've been telling you it's coming soon, so make sure you watch to the end of this lovely program. It is Oregon Week, the one we've had circled on the calendar forever here in Happy Valley. I'm your fake host, Chris Buchignani, and we have reunited for the first time in this, the most improbable 10th season of this program.
Yeah.
Our original panel.
Absurd.
And I got to give you pride of place. Former Penn State defensive tackle Brandon Noble.
Yeah. Back
stateside.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
Exactly where you thought you'd be.
That's
when you
exactly
showed up
right.
to a backyard shoot 10 years ago.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Sitting here at the new Happy Valley Live and getting ready to play Oregon of all, all the teams, right?
How about, for a conference game.
Yeah, it's exactly right, for a conference game.
Exactly like we planned it all those years ago. The always punctual Secretary of the Mountain Indian Conservancy, Kevin Horne.
Hi.
How you doing, Kevin?
I'm great. I was just thinking of a punchline, all noble, no paywall, but I don't know where I got that from.
Yeah. No Landon this week. We're going to find a way to sync the schedules up to get you guys both on set real soon, not this week. This is going to be, we're going to get into the game plenty here just momentarily. This is going to be one of the coolest weeks we have had in Happy Valley in a real long time.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, despite the fact that this game means a tenth of what it would have meant 3 years ago when it was a 4-team versus a 12-team.
Well, we'll talk about that.
You can still feel the energy building in town already. Right, Michael?
Oh, yeah. Everyone's hyped for this game. Everyone is really hyped up. I'm not sure why. It's just a game, another game. In my mind, just another game.
Just another game. That's right.
Nevertheless, you should continue to listen to us talk about it for another 30 to 45 minutes. Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
Sorry.
All right. Other than Mike The Mailman, I think every human being on earth who knows anything about college football understands that this is one of the most consequential games on the calendar this week, this season. And I want to pose to all of you, my August panel, specifically, give me your thoughts on what this game and its outcome, win or lose, means for Penn State, really both in the microcosm of this season and at the macro level. A lot of things affecting the program beyond the confines of 2025.
Here's why it matters, even though it probably doesn't really matter for the playoff picture so much. James Franklin has beat one team in the regular season that is either on equal talent to or was better than Penn State. They don't get that many opportunities because Penn State is better than most teams. Right. And we don't schedule teams that we are not that we are worse than.
And sometimes even when we try, it turns out that Auburn kind of stinks.
Right. Yeah, it's best we try.
Can't control that.
Yeah, West Virginia and Auburn stuck, and couldn't. Yeah. So you don't get these opportunities hardly ever, and you especially don't get these opportunities for non-Ohio State, Michigan, ever.
Yeah.
And so for the narrative that James Franklin can't beat a great team in the regular season, this means everything because you're only going to get 2 shots this year, in all likelihood. Indiana might come in with it a touchdown, but this is, for him, I'm sure it's a lot of pressure because we're the ones that perpetuate that narrative, and it's true. It's been true.
Look, I don't even think it's fair to say we perpetuate the narrative. We just reflect back what is already there. Yeah, I mean, those numbers are what they are.
Right.
Now, talking about the microcosm, Kev, you said you don't think it matters so much for the playoff picture?
You can lose to both good teams on your schedule this year, and you're still making the playoffs.
You feel really confident about that, even now?
Yeah. I mean, 10-2 Penn State gets in for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not willing to give it for sure.
Now, you lose by 2 touchdowns to Oregon, and all of a sudden Indiana gets a little dicey, and you never know. But, yeah, no, I mean, it would likely be an away first-round playoff game. But as far as getting a shot at it, yeah, I mean, it's not.
And a lot of teams higher ranked teams are losing, so that helps Penn State too.
I don't
Notre
want.
Dame has 2 losses already.
Yeah,
And
I don't want the 10-2 Notre Dame versus Penn State argument at the end of the year because I think we'll lose, and 2, I'll be angry about it. But let's just focus. Let's just go 1-0 before we talk about that.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I'll touch on that in a minute here. I am forced, unfortunately, because you're part of the panel, Mike, to ask you about this. And I know you believe that no games have any implications. You go into every single Saturday thinking Penn State's going to win, and if they don't, it's less than a bump in the road, right? Yeah. But indulge me. Micro and macro implications of Penn State versus Oregon.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. You play the game. It's been going on for how many years, centuries, Penn State football. Penn State has played so many games like this.
I'm glad I came back for that.
Did you miss that in Europe?
That's exactly right.
They don't have them like the Mailman in Europe at the Royal Post.
Just stay with us, boys. It's got to be good. It's got to be good.
From day one, when he rolled up on the backboard, he is just unapologetically lied to us, to the audience, with a smile on his face.
Right.
And I was drunker those early days, so it was easier. It was easier to deal with the lies. Now I'm a little bit more on the sober side, so it's a little bit harder to stomach.
You can tell you've lost some weight. You're looking good. Yeah. Mike the Mail Fraud. Thanks so much. Buy his book.
Oh, man.
Drop some knowledge on me, Noble.
Yeah, so I agree with Kevin in that losing this game doesn't have the same effect it used to have, right? When you had a smaller playoff or even no playoff at all, right? When every game actually mattered to get that elusive national championship opportunity.
You lost one game, you immediately needed help.
I mean, you were really done. Like my senior year, we go to Ohio State, get boat raced.
Yep.
Right. And at that point, like, okay, we're still shooting for a great bowl game. We're still shooting for an opportunity, maybe to have a share of a Big Ten title. But your opportunity to win a national championship is now really gone without, the wheels falling off a lot of other places. We don't have that now. So from that perspective, is it the end of the world if Penn State were to lose Saturday? No. Is it put more pressure on the rest of the season? Absolutely. You start losing the ability to have the wiggle room to kind of shit in your hat at Kinnick, right? Or to have, Illinois, right? You know what I mean? And that Ohio State game becomes that much bigger because you don't want to be in that 10-2 world where there could be a handful of other teams that now it becomes a narrative, a story, who won here and who did what, as the season went on. So you want to always control your own destiny in this game. And this game is huge for that.
You know what's telling about how we answered this question, Chris, is we all answered it in like assuming we're going to lose, even though Penn State is favorites at home, right? And that's I think how the first 3 games went in our minds, at least psychologically. But imagine that James Franklin actually does it for the first time in a decade, and they win. All of a sudden, we're on cloud 9.
Yep.
We might be first in the polls, but if not first, within a few points behind Ohio State, and then that guaroguarees essentially a 1 versus 2, unless you stumble in Iowa, a 1 versus 2. In Columbus, which again won't matter because they're both going to the playoffs, but would be an awesome experience.
A great game.
An awesome experience.
Yeah.
But
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I do think though that this is, to your point, like we haven't made it to the least favorite segment, right? Random number generator. But at the end of the day,
I got a little surprised.
I know you do. I hate that segment. I hate it more than life.
A little surprised. Welcome back, surprise.
Exactly. But it adds. It's a winnable game too, right? Like it is, and it's a winnable game when the national narrative is that Oregon is one of the best teams in the country, right?
Yeah.
We're really good. Look, I don't know what the line is. I don't do that stuff. I don't understand it, but like Oregon has the national narrative of being a better football team than we are right now. And so I think winning this football game, and it is a winnable football game for certain reasons. Would be huge for the program in general, right? On the bigger picture perspective.
Yeah, well, let me touch on a couple of things that you guys said. Kev, you talked about the perception, and you just mentioned it too, that actually, despite what everybody thought in the preseason, because of the way the games have played out, Oregon rolls in here viewed as the stronger team, even if the point spread doesn't necessarily reflect that. Kev, you talked about Iowa. You mentioned Iowa, Indiana, Nebraska. A win does give you a little bit more wiggle room to avoid devastating consequences
right.
for the oops loss, right? So just in the microcosm of this season, you get this win. Let's just forget all the narrative stuff for a moment. Just within the 12-game regular season of 2025, because of the perception of Oregon and the perception of Penn State, how we both did against our respective games against complete crap, inconsequential opponents, Penn State will get more credit for getting the win, and therefore will earn the wiggle room that if they lose in Columbus and drop another one, maybe that 10-2 team is more in play for a safe playoff spot than one with an identical record, but who lost to both Oregon and Ohio State, the two best teams on their schedule. So there's that in microcosm.
Yeah, you want a signature win going into the committee, although it seems like they punish losses more than they reward signature wins.
For sure,
Not that Penn State has had any.
Unless you're Notre Dame, of course.
Of course. Yeah, not that we've had any in
signature losses. Notre Dame has 2 signature losses already.
But Oregon gives you so much wiggle room. And I mean, you can, even at that point, you beat Oregon, you go 11-1, you're still probably getting a first-round bye. So it means everything. And it's like, it's the most expensive ticket in 20 years, and everyone I know that ever goes to a game is coming up this weekend. It's going to be, the town's going to be bursting at the seams. Just get a better post up at Anti-Fragile because everywhere else will have a line 10 miles long.
Especially if you've been listening to the Obligatory PSU podcast, which you can get wherever you get your podcasts, and the analytics tell us that you have in numbers heretofore unseen. You know that if you go to goldhandllc.com and just buy without the 10% mailman discount, and you catch him at Anti-Fragile, 2 free beers, yes, with proof of purchase.
That's right.
2 free beers, right? So you can either buy the Bloody Mary mix and use the cone mailman and get 10% off, right, which is a great deal. But if you're going to be in town, Oregon weekend only, if you're going to be in town Oregon weekend only, I will be there Friday. I can guarantee you Friday night. I can't guarantee you Saturday. But I'll be there Friday night for hours. So just come up to me with your receipt showing that you did not use the promo code mailman, and then I will buy you 2 beers.
Nobody wants to inflate his ego.
I love it.
We just can't do it.
But if you're not going to be here Friday night, or you're not sure if you're going to be able to get down to Anti-Fragile, I don't know what you're doing, but if you're staying in Williamsport for $500 a night for this game, then just use the promo code.
Or Altoona, like Oregon's football team.
Yeah, even better. At the convention center, which is not even a hotel.
Yes.
Wow.
Do you think we might try a little Utah Jazz Michael Jordan action with some Altoona-style pizza?
I think some Altoona-style pizza would be
I'm just saying.
That'd be good.
All right, so we've established what the stakes are for this season. But if you really want to get your stomach acid churning, I think it's going back to the macro stuff you brought up early on, the national narrative around coach, around quarterback, what it means for confidence in the locker room, confidence in the fan and booster base, national perception. I don't know that there's been a confluence of factors that have made a single game's outcome as consequential for the program writ large since the 1987 Fiesta Bowl. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because you think about the rest of Joe Paterno's tenure. Maybe you can talk about the 2005 season and what that meant for kind of extending his tenure in Happy Valley. Other than that, by the time you played here, Joe's reputation was solidified.
Yes.
And since we've gone through the O'Brien and Franklin years, there hasn't been a make or break moment. Like you talk about we're not playing Ohio State or Michigan. We luck out and we don't have to play them on Big Noon. We get what we have been begging for, loudly, obnoxiously in some cases. We're getting the night kickoff in the whiteout. And we have got every big recruit in the universe on our sidelines. If we biff this one, holy shit, fellas.
I can't even conceive of Penn State beating a team like Oregon, even though we're favorites, right? That's how long it's been.
100%.
I can already see the post-game press conference about how all the goals are still ahead of us, and the boys in the media making excuses about how it's fine. I can already see all these shows and all these press conferences in my head. I hope I'm so wrong, but it's been so long that I can't even conceive of it. Mike?
How does that affect the recruits? I mean, win or lose, if Penn State loses that game, will recruits, I don't want to go here or not?
No, not necessarily. But let me just ask you this.
Yeah.
If you had the top football talent in America on your sidelines in the whiteout environment and you're playing a top 5 matchup, one of only 2 that I can remember, Ohio State last year and then Penn State, Arizona to open the 99 season, would you rather win or lose?
Definitely win.
Yeah.
Definitely. But
That's good.
I think the atmosphere will say, I want to play here anyway.
You're right. You're right. The whiteout does sell itself to a certain extent, but it adds to the pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a huge, from a program perspective, it's huge. From a recruiting perspective, it's huge. From an NIL perspective, it's huge. You know, this is one of those games that
You're packing everybody inside the
That's
building
exactly
and
right.
you're going to send them home depressed and angry?
And when you look at expectations of this team coming into this season, and then you look at the 3-game kind of eye tests that we've had, you know, the pocketbooks were opened after that playoff run last year.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, you know, if you don't at least make a good showing of yourself on Saturday, what happens to the program at that point, right? We'll all still be here.
Yeah.
We'll still be here. We'll still love this place. We'll still do all those things, right? But does it change the way that we're looked at from all of those other things that are super important in college football right now?
It opens a lot of doors. I'm not saying that this Oregon game makes or breaks the program, makes or
good
breaks
Lord, it's
NIL.
bigger than that.
But-
100%. Look
but-
at this place.
But it's a chicken or the egg situation,
Yeah.
right? James Franklin would say that he has not been able to beat teams like Oregon because the pocketbooks are not open. And the guys with the money are saying, well, why would I give to a perpetual loser? Fair or unfair? A guy who can't beat any team that has a pulse. So it's a chicken or the egg, right?
Right.
Both fingers are pointing at each other. Yeah. Less so lately because we've been good and we made the playoffs and everyone's happy and it's all good. But like there's that dynamic that I wish it was just over. And Oregon could go a long way into ending that narrative.
Agreed.
If there is a Ragnarok matchup that we have had, it is this. There is so much at stake for Penn State, so much to be gained and so much to be lost. But this is why you compete.
Absolutely.
You can't ask.
It's why you do it.
You can't ask for a better setup. If you're going to have those stakes, you want to have it in your building
Oh, God.
with a lot of senior leaders on your team, with the highest paid defensive coordinator in the country. And we're going to talk about these matchups in the next segment. And you want to have one of college football's signature traditions on full display under the lights.
Absolutely.
And so this is it. It's not for all the marbles, but it's for damn close.
Most of them.
And even, Kev, if I accept for a moment the supposition that a 10-2 team that has lost home against Oregon and at Ohio State still gets into the playoffs, I do believe, I know what Ohio State did last season with 2 losses. At some point, the kids in that locker room have got to know they can do it when the pressure is at its highest. And if they can't get it done under these circumstances, psychologically, what does that do for the psyche of the team? Nothing good. Not trying to stress you out, everybody, but this is it. We're just speaking truths. And ultimately, this is going to come down to X's and O's and Jimmy's and Joe's.
Yep.
And that's what we're going to talk about in the next segment. So we'll take a short break here from Happy Valley Live and be back. Boys, I just cannot believe that we started this thing as a Cracker Jack operation on a back porch 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't think we were going to make it through 1 season, let alone be starting 10. It remains a Cracker Jack operation.
Yes. Wholeheartedly.
But we thought it would be fun to flash back to our humble beginnings with the last shred of evidence of that first season. It's almost gone, but we unearthed one more clip. Here it is. We'll be right back after that.
As a player and as a coach, you definitely miss out on. But you know, at the same time, you're doing something that's pretty special and unique in its own right.
And listen, here, so like,
don't backpedal.
I'm not backpedaling.
Trust me, he won't.
I'm qualifying. I would never say, like, if you enjoy tailgating, don't do it, or there should be restriction on tailgating. I think it creates a good spirit around the game. If you want to go do it, that's fine. I hate it. It's not for me. I will never do. You know, the game's at 3:30. I'm going to wake up probably hungover around 1 p.m. I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to take a few shots and drink a few nice beers in my apartment, and I'll get into the game 3:10 in time for
Don't
the
get
blue
fooled by
bands.
Google. Kickoff is at noon.
No, it's 3:30. Oh, for Temple.
Yes.
Yes.
Dude, yeah.
Yes.
noon even worse. There's no chance for tailgating. So I'll get up at 10:30 and have 1 or 2 beers. Get in the stadium by 11:15 for the band and everything. Student section.
So Kevin Horne's contention is that tailgating secretly sucks.
Not secret, like actually sucks. Just when we've discussed the bathroom situation, awful. Those are disgusting. There's always
Tremendous.
100% line.
No.
You know,
so many Porta Johns is terrific.
The cell phone signal in the lots is shaky when there's so many people, so you can't even meet up with your friends, and people are sending pins to each other, and it's just all this disconnect about what time you'll be here and where and the other thing. It's just a mess. But most of all, Penn State has completely bastardized tailgating. For this reason, too, you said you didn't go to the game. Back when you did that, it was probably cooler. But now, you can't drink during the game. You'll actually get a citation if you drink beer during the football game because they wanted to sell more tickets to get people in the stadium. Right? Like, that's a Penn State regulation. You can't have glass bottles. Are you kidding me? The best drinks come in glass bottles. You can't have glass bottles.
There's no whiners on the show, are there?
No.
I think I'm completely opposite.
That's why we're drinking whiskey.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm invited every home game. I'm invited to like 23 tailgates, and I always ride my bicycle because I have to catch them all. I put on a map, and people want me to show up at their tailgate. I'm not that much of a drinker, but I'm an eater. A lot of good to me. When an older lady says you got to try this, I try it because I know it's going to be really good. Although I've gained 4 pounds in the last 40 years, so I got to cut back a little bit. But other than that, I'll be all right. But I love it. I love it.
Well, it's...
Brought to you by the good folks at Antifragile Brewing Company. Antifragile is the official beer supplier fueling the obligatory pregame show. Antifragile brews incredible beer we all enjoy and recommend. And check out their Moody Culture Kombucha and fill up on Uncle John's Jawn's cheesesteaks. Check them out when you're in Happy Valley at 324 East Calder Way or anytime at antifragilebrew.com. Welcome back to Happy Valley Live. Welcome back to the obligatory PSU pregame show here on the YouTube channel of For the Bloggy. Appreciate them hosting us all throughout the season. And welcome to Penn State Oregon week. If we didn't stress you out enough in the first segment talking about the stakes, maybe we'll alleviate some of that stress. Maybe we'll make it worse by talking about how these teams match up on the field. I'm really curious to hear what you guys have to offer. Buchignani here with Mike the Mailman, Brandon Noble. Great to have you back, sir, by the way.
Good to be back.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Kevin Horne. Guys, let's talk about Penn State versus the Oregon Ducks when it's really going to matter on the gridiron.
You know what would be hilarious? Is we're recording this in all candid before the weekend, before the bye weekend. What if Oregon blew a 32.5-point spread to Oregon State? We have to redo the whole thing.
That would be amazing.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
It'd be good.
It would be on brand.
It would be very on brand. That's exactly right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny thought.
So I have some thoughts.
Yeah.
I'm going to open it up to the panel. But before I get into any specific point, let me just say, when we talk about the consequences of this game, I do believe that these are two teams that are worthy of them.
Yeah.
I feel like for as much as maybe because we're so close to it, we can pick out every little flaw in Penn State. It's a great football team. And they're facing a great opponent. They're both very well coached. This should be a terrific game.
I love Oregon's offensive coordinator because he's my UTSA guy.
Yeah.
Will Stein.
Yeah,
and they run the same offense they did at UTSA with Frank Harris, just slinging it down the field. You know, the first couple shows, and on the podcast particularly, I've shit-talked Dante Moore every chance I got because I watched him at UCLA. Yeah. That boy was terrible.
Yeah.
Off a 5-star bust.
Yep.
And now he's really kind of turned it on a little bit, and that worries me. I was delighted to see them not struggle, Oregon, not struggle, but like not just be a Death Star against Northwestern last week. That made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I'll say this about Northwestern. David Braun Northwestern looks a lot like Pat Fitzgerald Northwestern, which is the best talent you can squeeze out of a bunch of smart guys who aren't going to play professional football. Their offense is really bad. Their defense is just kind of bad.
Kind of bad. Yeah. And they played they had a good game plan going into that Oregon game, right? Kind of, keep the ball, right? You know what I mean? Keep things in front of you, those kinds of things. This is a matchup between two teams that have not been tested in any way, shape, or form yet. right? That I think, and we talked about a little bit on the last segment, I think the expectations for Penn State were very high going into the season, rightfully so. The expectations for Oregon a little bit lower because of the Dante Moore, right? You lose Dylan Gabriel to the NFL. You lose a couple guys on defense to the NFL. And neither team has really had to play a real football game like they're going to have to Saturday night at Beaver Stadium. And so we're going to find out a lot about both of them. Yeah. But I think that what the difference being is that Oregon has kind of trended upwards a little bit, and I think the Nittany Lions have stayed kind of flat, right? And to the national media, right? Sure. I think obviously those of us in Happy Valley that like you said, like kind of can pick the team apart do. And to an extent, rightfully so. You missed that Villanova show. Oh, No, I did miss that.
That was interesting.
But I think it's a great matchup, right? I think the Will Stein, Jim Knowles matchup is awesome, right? I think Jim Knowles has been very vanilla. I think I hope we're going to see a lot of those things that you heard about or you watched Ohio State do last year when he was there. And the creative blitzing, the disguises, those kinds of things to mess with a young quarterback.
Well, you just hit on both points. We really don't know, and it's very difficult to know much about, certainly from my perspective, Oregon, but even I would think from their side, looking at Penn State, because, Mike, you could look at just a little bit of Oklahoma State tape as Oregon and know that you got 4 jokers in a row to start the season. You could look at Penn State's schedule, just the names of the schools, and know you had 3 jokers in a row. So neither coaching staff was worried about any game until they got to this one. So that means 2 things. If you're looking at tape, man, it's really difficult to evaluate quarterbacks, defensive backs, for sure. I think Oregon's got a good secondary. You have no idea.
From a scheme perspective, they're watching Ohio State film, right? They're watching Jim Knowles' Ohio State film, right? You know what I mean? And Oregon is watching Penn State play in the playoffs last year. Yeah. Right? Like you're watching a little bit of those 3 games at the beginning here just to get some tendencies and some tells and personnel things, right? But at the end of the day, like both of these teams have played super vanilla. I've actually got to see more Oregon than I have Penn State because of my schedule. Yeah. And I do think they've opened it up. I think this is a good offense. I think that Dan Lanning is a guy that I've watched as a defensive coach and be like, he does a lot of really good things. Yeah. Just like Jim Knowles.
He has not had to show a lot. That's exactly
right. We talked a little bit about, when you watch their tape right now, they're rushing 4 and playing coverage. They're not going to just rush 4 against Penn State, right? Like Lanning has this incredible kind of build out of this 3-4 defense that he runs where you bring pressure from everywhere, right? And it's full pressure, 6-man pressure, dialed back to 4-man, what they call simulated pressure. I mean, it's going to be a lot.
And I think both teams have, like I said, played vanilla offensively and defensively. They're not showing a thing. But the other thing I'm telling you, Penn State, the Oregon quarterback.
I love it. Here we go.
Was a great quarterback, right?
Very good.
The guy that replaced him is not as good, or is he as good?
Historically, not as good.
Yeah, okay,
historically, not as good.
Yeah.
But other quarterbacks in other teams' programs, like their blue chip quarterbacks, Michael, they actually develop. Yeah. And to be better than they were the year before. So we don't know that here, but it seems like Dante Moore's done that.
So let me posit this, since we're talking about quarterbacks. Let me first answer your question about my take on Dante Moore. Again, like so difficult to tell when you're watching the caliber of competition they're playing against. So far, what I've seen from him is there are flashes of the 5-star stud recruit he was. And then there are decisions that he makes that you think, man, if he does that against Penn State secondary with our pass rush in his face and Jim Knowles coordinating the defense, it's going to go very badly for them because he hasn't been in a hostile environment like the one that exists in the whiteout.
That's such a huge point, right? Like I think when we get to random number generator, maybe I'll talk about it, maybe I'll just quit. But at the end of the day, like the environment is going to be huge.
That's it. I'm out. Give my chair to Tengwall.
That's exactly right. Yeah. Wow. But like it really, I mean, look, they're we can talk about the X's and O's, and that's what we're supposed to be talking about in the segment. But like they're coming across the country, they're staying in Altoona, right, and then they're going to go play in a night whiteout game. That is an advantage that Penn State has that you can't quantify from X's and O's, or from personnel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you've got a young quarterback, youngish quarterback that's never been in an environment like this. And
because
that
he
is
started
real
a
thing.
few games, as Kevin mentioned, as a freshman at UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
The only environment in the old Pac-12 that compares to Beaver Stadium is Outson.
Yeah.
And he definitely hasn't seen anything
Right.
approaching what he's good. So, yeah, that's an advantage. Talk about Penn State at the quarterback position, which honestly is where I'm most concerned. We didn't do a show for the bye week last week, so we didn't get to talk about progress of the offensive line versus Villanova. You saw Tengwall's film study probably. If you're watching this, if you haven't, you can go back and check it out. I understand they're playing against vastly inferior competition.
Patriot League.
Yeah. The question is, did you block the guy you were supposed to block or didn't you? You didn't do it against FIU. You did against Villanova. Now, you drove him 8 yards down the field because he plays for Villanova.
Right.
But you were in the right spot when you were supposed to be because you're dialed
And
in.
they did the right thing. And that's exactly what they should have done to Villanova. I'm not downplaying it at all, but I'm also not going to be like, woo.
And you know, look, at the bare minimum, even though Nick Singleton's having some struggles right now, we know what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
And Katron Allen's balling out. I'm not worried about the run game. I'm not worried about the O-line. I actually think we've seen some really good things from the receiving core and the tight ends especially. Comes back to the quarterback.
Yeah.
And what has been the reputation of Drew Allar through 2 seasons so far as the starter? It's that he plays like Peyton, or at the bare minimum, Eli Manning against inferior competition, and Arch Manning against the best teams.
Well, that used to be the case, Chris. That used to be the case. Now he plays inferior against everyone.
So what if we don't? No. You said he plays inferior against everyone. We haven't seen him play anyone. What if this season is going to be the mirror image, where he plays bad against the lousy teams
And great.
Yes. Don't you think? What do you think about that, Mike?
That's a glass half full. You've been on that. You've been on that side of the table too long.
Thanks so much, Mike The Mailman.
Guys, and 250 passing yards for USC last.
Now, spoiler alert, we're going to make our score predictions. And, I'm going to do my Johnny Carson thing right now. And I'm going to say that Kevin Horne and myself are going to be the 2 people who are most directly responsible for all the favorable comments on this video from the Oregon fans and angry comments from the Penn State fans. I mean, that's a safe bet with him every week.
Yes, it is.
Well, no one counters it. They just say you're fat. And I say, okay. Yeah.
It's the shirt, right?
But I do think,
on a beer show.
It is going to... Uncompensated plug for Katron Allen's NIL, by the way. Nice shirts.
It's a $50 shirt.
I've got to get an Adidas logo on there next year, I guess.
All right. Yeah,
I do think a lot of it does come down to the quarterback on both sides.
On both sides.
Everything we just talked about. Just a couple other little factoids I want to throw out. We're familiar with this team because we watched them go punch for punch with Penn State and mess up a defense that stifled pretty much everyone else they played last season, Ohio State included.
Yeah, the first time, definitely, yeah.
But Oregon is bringing back only 2 starting offensive linemen from that O-line that we saw in the Big Ten championship game. And it's interesting, just kind of reflective of who they are as a program. The center started every game for them last year. The right guard, who we expect to see against Penn State, just had started the last few games of last season. The rest of that O-line is all transfers.
Yeah.
Including guys who've been at multiple schools. And we talked when we previewed Penn State, Nevada, how Nevada got their top left tackle poached. He's a potential first-round pick, and now he's going to start at Oregon. I do think that we are going to be able to, just with our rush from our front 4 nobs, I think, create some disruption in their backfield. And again, we've seen very little schematically from either one of these defensive coordinators so far. Jim Knowles absolutely has a few surprises.
Yep, absolutely. And so does Dan Lynn. I don't think it will be just handle their front 4 either. And I do think that our D-line has to play really well this week.
Yeah.
Right? If Jim Knowles can rush 4 and play coverage and then do some kind of creative things from a pressure perspective, I think that's a great tied in with the home field advantage, right? The crowd noise, all those things, a young quarterback, it's a huge advantage. But we have to be good in the middle of our defense, right? They're going to come out, right? They do throw the ball all over the yard, but they also have a solid running game. And they want to run the ball kind of in between the tackles. They like some counters and some gap schemes. And we're not big up front.
Yeah.
Right? We're not big. So what you don't want to see is Oregon come out and be able to kind of take the crowd out of it by sustaining the run game, right? You know what I mean? Just kind of 3 yards in a cloud of dust, which is what Penn State really should do.
Yeah.
You know, go 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And you don't want to see Oregon be able to do that. So our linebackers, our interior D linemen, not the edge guys, the inside guys, have to play really well this week.
And I think they will.
Me too. They're good. They're as good as anybody.
I can see it in my mind, right? You can see it too. I can see Penn State. You know, James Franklin talks about explosive plays being the most important stat. It's not. It's important. We're not an explosive offense at all. Drew Allar's not capable. Havoc is one of the most important stats to me. Which is disruption in the backfield, disrupting plays. Havoc. And Denied Dennis Sutton is a havoc creator.
Yes.
Zariah Fisher's a havoc creator.
Yes.
I can see us winning by 2 touchdowns if we just get there.
Create havoc.
Right? Because Dante Moore's, at his heart, he's a bum. He really is. He ran for his life when he was at UCLA, and he's like any quarterback, they're bad when they're under havoc.
Yeah. Yes.
And so I like Penn State in that matchup. Am I going to pick them to win? Of course not. But can I see Penn State winning by 2 touchdowns and us kind of breathing easy? Absolutely. If Denied Dennis Sutton eats, I think there's a good chance he will.
So for as reserved as the defensive schemes have been, given the quality of the competition, I think the reverse is true on offense. It's allowed both coordinators, who have reputations for being really creative, to just throw a bunch of stuff to the wall just to put it on tape.
Which is horrible from a defensive perspective.
Well, what scares the hell out of you when you look at Oregon's offense is, true to form, they have a ton of speed.
Yes.
All over that offense. Now, DeCorian Moore, for sure.
Very good.
Sadiq, the tight end, is
the best, probably
monster.
The best true tight end in college football.
I think he is well on his way to being their sort of poor man's version of Tyler Warren. In that, they will line him up all over the formation. They will use him as kind of a gadget guy. They will potentially let him take some wildcat snaps. He's a devastating blocker.
Yes.
A matchup nightmare. Killed us in the Big Ten championship game. And they've got this whole stable of running backs. They have 4 or 5 guys in the running back room who have logged double-digit yardage through the first few games of the season, and including a pair of true freshmen, which is just like true to form, Oregon, right? Just bring in speed. And the fact that you talk about your guy from UTSA, who is going to throw all different kinds of formations. He's going to use motion. He's going to use different personnel packages. There will be 2 backs in the backfield multiple times to create mismatches, show Penn State a dozen or more different looks, and just try to find ways to get fast guys in space. There's no doubt in my mind, even Penn State's defense can play as well as possible. Oregon is going to get their shots. It is going to be on the offense to match what Oregon brings to the table.
The first 3 games this year, I really thought the thing that stood out in my mind was how fast our defense was. I mean, I thought our defense really played fast.
We are.
I really.
And we're going to need to.
So
for sure.
We haven't seen speed like this on an offense, right? Our defense is not. And I think that it is very, to your point, our offense has to make sure that they answer every score, right? And that they answer every drive, right? Because Oregon is going to move the ball, right? They're going to score. I think we've given up 3 points. Our starting defense has given up maybe 3 points this year.
Maybe not even.
Right? You know what I mean? But like not a lot, right? But Oregon's going to score. They're going to get first downs. They're going to move the football, right? This is going to, or should be, a slugfest. Could we get up 2 touchdowns? Absolutely. You just don't know how anybody's going to react on either side because neither team has been tested. But I do think it's very important that our offense is either able to match or keep up with early that Oregon offense, right? And look, if we get a couple stops, if we get a couple turnovers, a couple extra possessions for Allar and Kotelnicki, that's huge. That's how you win by 2 touchdowns.
I think the turnover and the extra possession is critical.
In the first half especially.
Yeah. You talk about get up 2 scores. To me, that is the recipe for success for Penn State. I do think that we are going to be able to run the ball against Oregon, as we did in the Big Ten championship game.
Yes. They're bad against the run. So far.
I don't think they are going to be able to get pressure on Drew Allar without some of those landing blitz packages because I don't think they're going to be able to pressure us bringing 4.
And can we knock off this 2 running back stuff against an opponent like Oregon, right? I mean, give Nick some play. But if it looks like it's looked the first 3 games, stop trying to appease him. Just put Fat Man in and just run down their throats.
I agree.
Like this is too much is at stake to toy around with that crap.
And so the formula is get up double digits,
Yep.
even if it's not 2 touchdowns. Get up 10 plus.
10.
And start putting downward pressure on them to become more one-dimensional offensively. Put more and more of the onus on Dante Moore.
That's exactly
and
right.
let your home field advantage go to
And go
work.
win.
All right. So here's the deal, folks. We're at Happy Valley Live. We have been talking it up for you old folks out there like myself, Brandon, not you, Mike.
No.
You're still the young guy on set now that Tengwall's not here. It's the old Damons on College app. It is going to be the spot to come here in Happy Valley on a football weekend or any weekday or weekend. We're going to have the proprietor, our host here, Pat Romano, filling in for me on the next segment with a big announcement, which means 2 things. Throwing back to the days of when we were on the back porch, even though the football player's never the host, you're going to be the host. Welcome back, buddy. Welcome back.
Bad idea.
It also means I got to do my random number generator
Yes,
pick.
you do.
And so what I'm going to try to do is bring the room down and set you all up in the next segment with the big announcement to bring the energy level way up. Here's my prediction. How could it be anything else? What did I say? Until you show me, I'm not going to sell the people any more snake oil. I got the Oregon Ducks winning this one, 31-20. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Obligatory PSU Pregame Show is brought to you by Gold Hen Bloody Mary Mix. Get your bottle today by going to goldhenllc.com. Use the promo code Mailman to get 10% off your order. That's me, the Mailman. That's great. Thanks.
For old time's sake, Mike,
Nice.
I somehow or another, Kevin, I'm back in charge.
Oh, God.
I've been in Europe I've tried to get out of this thing for the last 2 years, 3 years for that matter. And Chris just up and left me here in my least favorite segment.
Oh boy.
And Chris got tan.
And Chris got very tan, right? Absolutely. So we've got Pat Romano. Yeah, we got Pat Romano here, and he's a good friend of the program, as some people like to say.
Sugar daddy, arguably.
Sugar daddy. It's probably the right way to put it. That's exactly right. And you got some big news, man. What's going on? We're here at Happy Valley Live. This is your place.
Yeah.
Right? Talk to us.
You know, we've been trying to get it open. I started talking with the owners of the building back in October of 2022. And there were some issues that they wanted to take care of before they did anything. Then in January, we signed the lease, and there were some things that we had to get taken care of, some loans and things like that before we could jump into it. We had hoped to be open by sometime in May, June, but then we had to get engineers' drawings and stuff like that. So that takes
It's a process. It's a process.
Definitely. So where we are now, that's what everybody wants to know. Everyone wants to know where we are now. We're hoping to open next week.
I love that.
Or is that this
Wow.
week?
This week, next week. It'll be technically be this week because this might go out on Sunday.
Right.
Okay.
This week.
Exactly, right? So basically hopefully the goal would be rolling into the whiteout
to the
weekend,
whiteout.
right?
Like I said, we lost so much by not being open over the summer. I mean, we lost a lot of good months where, as a new place, we would have really made out well. So the whiteout for us is going to be Black Friday, so Black Saturday.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. No, so you've got the We Are in Philipsburg, right? We've done some shows there. We did a lot of shows there last year, maybe 2 years, right? And this is like that place, but on steroids.
Big time, yeah.
As I've walked through it, right? So I kind of walked in and walked through, and again, it is the old Damons, right? You know what I mean? And so for those of us that have been here for a long time, right? Like that's kind of, it's the location you go, this place should be awesome.
Yeah.
And walking in here, man, this place is awesome.
Man. Well, I mean, we're gonna jack it up with nightlife. That's where the live part comes too.
Right,
because
okay.
Our dinner crowds, it usually settles down probably like around 9:30.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure at 10:30 when people want to come out, at any given time, if you walk in here, say on a Friday night, it might be 10:30. There might be karaoke going on right here.
Absolutely, with
in
Mike
front
The
of the
Mailman
stadium.
singing, 100%.
With Mike singing.
Exactly.
Now Mike's going to be downstairs on the bull.
There's a ball.
There's a mechanical bull will be downstairs, and there will be live music down there, or a DJ paired up with the bull.
I love it.
The middle level, maybe something acoustic for people that are taking a breather in between.
Take a deep breath for a minute.
Once you get thrown around on the bull for a while, you're like, I'm going to stop.
Might need a little water. And then
And I don't want to stereotype your Philipsburg folks, but you're in State College now. This is in State College. Maybe a little bit later, maybe a little bit more lively at night, perhaps, than the We Are in.
Absolutely.
that's awesome.
Well, I want to know, how do you get, so this is, a lot of places in the Big Ten have places like this, and the Skeller used to kind of be like this, but the walls are covered
insane.
with autographed memorabilia. It's awesome. It's great looking. What do we got to do to get? I mean, I'm looking over here. We've got Austin Johnson. I mean, Kurt Allarman was legit.
Yeah.
Anthony Zettel, Miles Sanders, Glenn Carson, Goon. We got good. What do we got to? Noble's got to get up there. He's got more. He's got more NFL years than all those guys combined.
So I hang around with Blair Thomas, right? Yeah. We're buddies. I mean, we were friends. People always see us together. And I had to go get his a signed jersey of Blair Thomas. I had to drive to Erie to pick one up. I see him every week.
That's amazing.
But I think Brandon.
I think we'll figure it out. Yeah, well, we can figure that out. We can 100%. But it is really cool.
It is cool
to walk through here. And if you've ever been to the We Are In, that was the thing when you walk in, you're like, holy smokes. And then this is such a big building, right? And with all of the memorabilia, it's pretty cool. It's all signed. And I know it's a lot of football stuff, but you talk a little bit about some hockey, right? I know I think we got a wrestle and shoe down there at the end of the table.
There's a wrestling corner over there.
Absolutely, right? Because it is a little bit more than just football up here.
Sure. Because we got to spread it out. I mean, we even I have some things from the softball team.
Nice.
And I don't know a whole lot of people that are doing the softball follow-ups, but we like to do that.
That's awesome.
All the kids deserve it. They're all working their
no doubt about it.
The families are all supporting, so we love everybody.
That's great. No, I love it. And this is, obviously, knock on wood, before the whiteout, right? You get this thing rolling, brother, and we can all come in here and have a good time. Mike the Mailman doesn't start his night until about 10 o'clock on a Friday, so he'll be here for your after-dinner crowd.
Oh, yeah. I'll be here.
I know, Mike will be here. Absolutely. People will be buying him drinks, right? That's exactly right.
Just make sure you got someone monitoring the bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God. That's
This one,
awesome.
Mailman's
Exactly. So my least favorite part of this whole show is a random number generator. All right. And Chris has left me here to do it, and I hate it. So I would partially say we're not going to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So
just don't do it. He can't fix it.
I know. He can't fix it. That's exactly right. If we all just walk off the set right now, that would be relatively appropriate. But let's start with Mike the Mailman, because we know that he's not going to give us a number, right? And Penn State's going to win.
Our first show this year, I predicted, and so far it's been true, that Penn State would win by double digits.
Okay.
And I think it's the same thing going to happen this week. I think Penn State will beat Oregon by, I'm saying, 16 points.
16?
16.
I like that.
So
I like that. That's good.
By 16.
That's good.
All right.
Now let's go to the other side of the table. Let's go, Kevin.
The line in the preseason was 6.5. It's down to about 3.5. I don't know. We already talked about it. You know what I'm going to say. Prove it to me, and I'll start picking differently. I can see it going the other way. I hope it goes the other way.
Yeah.
Mike, I hope more than anything it goes the other way. We can walk out from the stadium. This place will be open, and we'll celebrate into the night. But as it stands, 34-17, Oregon, and we're all pissed off and worried about the rest of the year.
Oof. Pat, what do you got?
I'm close to his number, but the other way.
Okay.
I'm in like the 31-17. Did you say the spread changed 3 points?
It has, since before the season started.
Yeah.
So all the dumb money went that way. So now we can go with the Penn State.
I'll tell you what, if that number gets to 3, it's going to get hammered by people picking Penn State. So that's the way it's looking. But.
And it should.
Absolutely. So what do you got?
I say 31-17 Penn State.
All right. I like it.
Hey,
I like it. Yeah.
Win or lose, people will still come here either way. So this.
Absolutely. Win or lose, we still booze. That was always my football motto right there, right? You know what I mean? When it was time, when I was playing, that was, look, man, I'm gonna drink before the game. I'm gonna drink whether we win or lose, right? We're gonna go out. We're either gonna be crying in our beers or having a good time. Yeah. I personally, since I hate this so much, I'm gonna actually say 28-24, Penn State wins. I think it's because of the environment, because of the travel. I think all of those things tie in. And I think the Nittany Lions get a big, much-needed kind of program-defining win in 2025. It'll be a good time. Everybody comes here to We Are Live to see Pat. If Mike the Mailman's on the bull, please video it and send it to us.
Cheer for him.
Yep, cheer for him. That's exactly right. But don't let him get hurt because we need him for this show. So if not, the negativity would spill over too far. So that's about it from here. I don't know how to wrap this up. Chris has some fancy catchphrase. We are.